Hello all my lovely Flosstube friends. I'm back. It is the 8th of November. It's a Tuesday. If you're new, welcome to my channel. I am Rita Marie and this is Rita Marie's Stitching Adventure, where I have some crazy projects going on. Some I'm stitching on, some I'm not stitching on. And I will show you today. I will do haul because it's super tiny, and then I will do my whips and finishes and almost FFOs, and yes, I say it in plural, and then plans. So yeah, depending on how much I ramble through all of it, depends on how long this video will be, but I don't actually have that much, so fingers crossed it's not too long, because then my iPad can't handle the podcast. My faithful water bottle. So I also have to just excuse myself. I have been having a massive headache these last days. It's actually not that good today either. So we'll just roll with it, get it on, and if it's not the best me I can be, then that's fine. I'm not always tip-top, and that's just the way it is. So let's go to haul. I did receive in a swap from, I think it was Karen, where I received some Bohin 26 size needles, and so far I have really enjoyed these. I bought like a bundle pack of John James needle, and they are just breaking all the time. I don't understand it. And I have bought some that are just like a small pack like this from John James, and they work totally fine, doesn't break at all. So I don't know what's wrong. Maybe it's the bundle needles that are as good, maybe. So, but anyway, I got these bowline needles. I really like them. It was size 26. So I bought myself size 24 and 28 to stitch with. And if they keep up the way they have been keeping up, then I will most likely do more of them. I have also bought some DMC 28 needles to test out. As I said, the John James in bundles disappointed me, so I have been trying to find other types of needles I like. So far I have mostly used all my needles that comes from kits, because those needles are amazing. Just saying, they almost never break at all. They almost never tend to bend, just a tiny bit. I still stitch with bended needles. So yeah. Got some more needles. That was my haul. Next up is finishes. First off, I picked up the last of the little Christmas stitches that are going to be coasters, going to be made into coasters as a present. So here you have all of them. So this one I finished since last time. So I have 2 more sets of coasters I need to stitch up the stitching for, and then I think I will do all the coasters at once. So it will be a total of 12 coasters to finish off. But so far I have stitched 4 of them. I need to do 8 more. Then I said I wanted to stitch for my niece and nephew like a little ornament that they can have on the Christmas tree if they want, or when Christmas is done have on their door, something like that. So I stitched my niece's. She is getting a frog, and I have put some felt on the back, and it's not totally finished because I need to put on a ribbon, cording, something like that. And I also want to make like a little sign where her name is on, and use like the metallic rings that you use in jewelry making to like make a little chain downwards where the sign can hang around the neck on the frog. And the same sign thing I want to do on this, which is for my nephew. He loves Pokemon, so I have Bulbasaur, that is K-Stitch warning stitching. This is Lola Lota shop on Etsy. You can find the frog in a bundle with a snail and a heart also. And it's made, the pattern is made so we actually can do it on plastic canvas. It even shows you where you are supposed to cut the canvas, so that was nice. And Bulbasaur, also backed with a green back. So they are not fully finished, but almost fully finished. Then I finished my stiachelon for this part. There is coming a new one on Saturday, I think. So this part was the 3rd leaf in this flower thing. I am pretty sure that we are going to stitch a 4th leaf like this up here and down there. So that's why I have just parked some of my floss, just because if that is happening, then it's easy to just pick up the floss and stitch those motifs. If not, it's easy to just take it out. As simple as that. And we also did this border right here. So that is my stiachelon so far. I think I'm not totally made for doing sals. I've started to figure out, because this one, stiachelon, and my adventure awaits, and with my fairy tales that I finished, I showed you last time, I am really struggling to take them back up when a new part is released. It's like I don't want to, because when I do small finishes, I kind of like feel they are finished, so picking them back up again is really hard to do. So going forward, I think I mostly will do, if I do sals and stuff, there is a good chance I will just do them as a whip and stitch on them whenever I feel like. More like I have done with my Haunted Mansion, because I knew I would never keep up with that. And that one I have always been a joy to pick up again. I'm always looking forward to stitching it and so on. And because of all the Christmas stitching, I didn't pick it up on Wednesday the 31st of October. That was my plan, but I didn't. So but I have a feeling it might show up when my Christmas presents are done, hopefully. And then I have a big finish. I actually didn't realize how big of a finish it was until I was making the calculations for my stitch from stash, how much money it would be. And this actually equals 140 by 140 stitches. So if you're doing stitch from stash, you know that is a pretty good amount of money. Plus that I have done 2 different specialty floss. There is backstitching, I have done beading. That gave me a good amount of money in my bank, where I have been in the red and now I'm in the black just because of the stitching. And I was pretty far behind, and these last months I have been good and like gotten more and more out of the red. So this stitching, I will not show all of it, and you will understand why, but you have seen the bottom part. So here is my baby 3 sampler, and I'm not showing you the bottom because I haven't covered up the name and birth info, but you saw that last time. So if you wonder how that looks with the dare and how the tree is finished, then just look back. But I finished all the leaves and I beaded the bird's eye and beak, and I actually think it looks really nice. So that was that done. So now it needs washing and framing, and I'm going to give it as a birthday slash, not birthday, birth slash Christmas present. So, and other than that, I only have one whip. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm tired. My headache is causing me to be really tired lately. So, in November, the Pokemon Cross Stitcher group started Pokevember, I think it's pronounced. Pokevember, something like that. So I have stitched on my epic Pokemon piece each and every day since November the 1st. And I haven't done for today, but I have done the other days. So far I am using this as my by the number sal this month. So far I have done 944 stitches. And when I reach 1200 stitches, I am pretty sure I will just stop counting. Because I don't like to count each and every stitch. So I will try and insert a picture of how it will look like. And how it looked like last time. And here we are now. This is a free pattern, so I'm not worried about showing this page, and even if I did, you wouldn't really get much out of it anyways. So what I have done is this darker brown, or like reddish brown, I stitched. I have done some stitching right here, filling in, and down here with each, it is, oh, I don't remember. This is Kabuto and this is his evolution, and it's basically his like skeleton hands-ish going down. I finished off the face of Aerodactyl. Ditto is fully finished, and I have started Scyther right here. And if you can see that tiny spot of yellow, that is actually Dratini, because he is really big. He is a really big Pokemon. So that is the finish of, not Dratini, Dragonite. So this is the finish of Dragonite. So I finally finished Dragonite. So here is basically where I am. I have done more, as you can see on the sides, and if you remember previously, I have finished the third row. It's almost fully finished. I'm just missing a couple of stitches on the top on 3 of the pages that I will do when I work down these pages. I'm working on page 3, so this is page 8. The pages are from the black and white. If you do it in colors, the pages are different sizes, so you get them in a different place on the pattern, and I think the color pages start in another direction than the black and white pages. Just as you know, if you have this yourself and wondering what I am talking about, this being page 3, because it might not be your page 3 if you have the colored chart. So, and then down here is page 8. So basically what I have left to finish this column to row 3 is 1 1/4 page finish to do. And then to finish the 3 rows, page 2 and page 7. And page 1 is started a good amount, as you can see. And so page 1 and page 6. If I'm being honest, I think I have something like a little bit over 4 pages left, say 4.5 pages left to finish the top 3 rows. So that was my whips. So I'm gonna go over to plans. The long time plans first, then the short term plans next, because that is just easier in my mind for some reason. Long term, I'm doing No Start 2019. I have already started to do a bunch of half stitches starts. I'm laughing pretty hard because right before I'm filming this video, Stitching Mommy has commented on my last one. She was laughing over my half stitch starts. She really liked it, so it's a go. So far I have just done the heights half stitch stars because those are usually easier to start since I start in the corner. But in reality they wasn't, because I haven't left a 3-inch border on each and every one. And usually I write down how much border I am giving myself, so it's easier to start full coverage. But I didn't do that this time because I was such in a hurry just doing it when I was doing it. So, but anyways, I figured it out. It just took me 7 or 8 minutes more, so no biggie. And that is actually the worst part for me about starting whips, is finding out where to start and be like 100% sure if I start in the corner that the center will be in the center, etc. So the worst part is done. that is what I don't like about starting whips. That is always the thing that gets to me. Doing all those half stitches starts, in the end it was like I had to push through because I wanted to throw something out the window. So yeah, and now I want to start all the 8s I have halfway started, because the worst part is done and we're looking at a pattern and seeing like, oh, I want to put one more floss on there, because my luminescence Hade, one of the ones I have done half stitches on, the first stitch is a stitch that doesn't show up until on the first row of stitches. There's one stitch, and in the 10 by 10 block and the next 10 by 10 block it doesn't show up, but it shows up in the third. And since I'm doing it on a 32 count, I am thinking the length of 3 blocks isn't that long, so that might actually be my jumping length on 32 count. I don't have anything like, oh, I only jump 10 blocks. Stop. I don't, because I have different counts. So on my Epic Pokemon Generation 1, I'm not jumping more than 5 or 6 stitches because it's on 14 count, and the jump like 4 or 5 stitches is like a really good jump. And especially since I'm doing Ada, I have also on that started doing the pin stitch for start and ending, because I like that better when it's on a frame. So I actually have stopped doing the knot thing I did previously, and just hope it still will not look too much out of place with the other stitching I have done and did make the knots. So yeah, and when I start and end my floss with the pin stitch, there is not much floss getting used, so jumping a whole lot, it's not justified in my head, unless of course there is always an exception to the rule where I deviate from my rule, my own set rule. So yeah. So back to luminescence. Sorry for the big rabbit hole. So there's not, I know when I'm starting that piece for real, the first thing I need to do is start a new floss. And I'm like, I really just want to do it. And it's the next color. Sorry, the next color is like the whole 10 by 10 block. And the next block is just that color, and I want to start stitching it, but I will prevail and keep being good, because I think I have found kind of like a reward system to myself going forward. So my plan is, when I'm done with all my Christmas stitching, I most likely will start my Enchanted Snowman ornament from Hade. It's a design by Donna Gelsinger. I have also started that in half stitches, and be like my reward for all the Christmas stitching. In 2019, I have been thinking about the fact that I'm doing a whole bunch of half stitch starts that I don't count as starts. I think maybe I will implement the reward system I was talking about before No Start 2019, where I have to have 3 fully finishes or partial finishes before I can start a new half-started whip. So I'm thinking along the idea of having to do like 3 mini finishes or finishes, that includes page finishes, before I can start one of the starts that I have half started, because I'm not starting anything new, but the ones I have done half stitch starts on, those I can start if I have bought the amount I need. Going forward, I have Christmas presents for 6 more persons to stitch. 4 of them is just a single stitch. Like there is going to be 2 bookmarks. There is going to be 2 magnets where there is one of those wall of cross-stitching letters, if you know what I mean. The letters with something else on, and it's a nautical inspired alphabet. So I'm going to do 2 magnets of those to do 2 different peoples. And the last 2 people are getting coasters, which will have a geeky thematics. I talked it over with my husband because it's for our 2 of our friends with girlfriends that really like the same things as us. So I have some patterns, and I bought 1 or 2 patterns PDFs to like get more variation in the coasters, because my husband didn't want like one of them to just get a Zelda inspired or Mario inspired or Star Wars inspired coaster set. So he was thinking that what the coasters will have in common is the fact that they're stitched by me. So he is like, stitch the figures you want to stitch the most, or that isn't that big to do, and I will stitch 8 of them. We will just mix it up, and they're getting 4 each. And for next year, I will most likely write down what they did, each of them did get, and make 4 more for them, and make sure they don't get the same as this year. So that is my plans during the Christmas presents. I have had 2 days with a really bad headache, where I also have, I finished the baby tree sampler, which is a Christmas present, but I haven't been active with the Christmas presents. I was really good this week. That has been most of it, except these 2 last days, where I was like, okay, when I finished a Christmas present, I just started right away on the next one. I also fully finished my Fruits ornament swap, but I think maybe, even though the person doesn't know that it is getting the stitching, I think I will wait until it's received before showing you, because I have taken some pictures of it, both when just the stitching was finished and when it was fully finished. So that is my plans. That is what I had for you. If you're wondering why I'm always looking up right there now, it's because we have gotten a bird feeder in our window right beside where I sit and stitch. So the birds are flying up and down, eating sunflower seeds. I have given them like the expensive stuff. The sunflower seeds I have used in baking. I had some more of that. That is like really expensive, not cheap stuff, and they love it. They are up and down my window all the time. And I think it was on Sunday, it was empty, and the bird was like, the bird feeding thing hangs on a round black thing on the window, and he stood and like for 3 or 4 minutes until he saw that I raised myself up. Then he did fly away and just was like circling outside my window. So I went and got more sunflower seed. I put it inside the bird feeder, and as fast as I was away from the window, I saw that he came and got more sunflower seeds. So at least one of the birds really like me. So that's fun. Small things that gives you joy in the everyday life. So yeah, continuing onwards, Epic Pokemon Generation 1, because I'm going to stitch on it each and every day for November. I'm also in a challenge on Creatively Crafting's Facebook page, where she is doing 100 days challenge, which is just each day stitch 100 stitches on whatever you like. It doesn't have to be the same thing each and every day. Just make sure you get 100 stitches in. And if you fall behind a day or two, you are able to catch up. You are allowed to play catch up. So basically, I usually always do more than 100 stitches a day and have been. So I either do it on Pokemon, or I do it on the other stitching I do, that is my Christmas stitching. So some days I stitch more on my Epic Pokemon when I really have the urge to work on a full coverage, because that before I decided to do Pokemon, I really was struggling with, I was missing my full coverage and just doing all the small stuff, because in a way I like the small stuff, but it's not me. It's too finish focused, and it's like something I'm just stressing about getting done because I need it done before Christmas. In all reality, I really need to get it done before November, so I can get what needs to go in the mail and send off. So yeah, that's that. Going forward, it's not that exciting. Tomorrow is Stitchathon. I haven't decided what to do on my Stitchathon other than Epic Pokemon, Stitch-along, and my Christmas stitching. I don't know if I will put anything else this time on my Stitch-along. I'm usually one of the few that has like 6 or 7 whips to choose from in the Stitch-along. Not Stitch-along, Stitchathon. Sorry, the Stitchathon is this week on Cross Stitch Finishes Facebook page. So yeah, I usually need all those different whips when I'm stitching like a whole bunch. I don't know why, it's just I always have done that with the Stitchathon. But other days I can easily stitch on one whips for 7 or 8 hours and pick it up the next day and don't have a problem. So I don't know why I'm worried about the Stitchathon. Maybe it's just me wanting to have the possibility to stitch on something else if I really want to. not be forced to limit myself. So I can't think of anything else. Thank you also much for joining me today. You will most likely see this tomorrow, Friday, the 9th of November. Or I will upload it like my time late today, so it will be maybe evening for you, maybe early morning for Australia, Friday. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, for commenting. I really enjoy all the interaction with you guys, and I think I will go and lay down because now my head is really starting to hurt again. So I will see you later. I'm so sorry about the live stitching that didn't happen. I hope that on Tuesday the 13th that I will be able to do it. I hope my head is in place. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I will announce it on Instagram. So if you are interested in that, please follow me on Instagram. So you can, I usually give a notification in my history. And I have considered maybe going live on my notifications in my history, because some people get those notifications on Instagram. For some reason, I do it on every other person than Heather. Link is my homeboy. But Heather is so nice. She usually always let me know that, oh, I'm going live. And I'm like, okay, I'm coming if I can. So again, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe button if you want. And if you want to leave a comment, feel free. As I said, I love interacting with you guys. Thank you so much for visiting with me, even though it wasn't the most of whips this time. But it was a bunch of finishes, in all honesty, or mini finishes. So thank you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye!